Are you thinking about buying or selling a home, or just want to keep up with the Twin Cities' latest news, stats, and trends? Well, then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Joining me today, Danielle Germundson. Thank you for coming in again.
Thank you.
You're regular now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
It's good to see you.
We got to get you up on the website.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. And Chad Priebe, Bell Bank Mortgage.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yay.
Good to see you.
Today we're going to kind of deep dive into what's happening with our market now that we are in the spring market. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. This is the first spring market that actually has spring weather.
Yeah,
right.
That is true. That is so true.
Because a lot of people think the spring market is, April, May, June. That's not true.
No.
It's like January, February, March, April, right?
Absolutely.
Really starts to pick up
Right.
there. The velocity changes. I actually just did a post this morning saying, that our market meter, we're up almost double, we're beyond double of where we were just 2 months ago.
Right.
Wow.
And so in a pretty solid seller's market range at this point in time. And we get 60-degree weather. That's then going to be followed by 20-degree weather. That's going to be followed by 60-degree weather. So
Welcome to Minnesota.
Good old Minnesota.
yes.
What's the saying, Kirk? If you wait till it's green, you're missing out on green?
Yeah. Well, this might be the year where we actually do get green and
Yeah.
people might capture. No, I actually don't think. So today we're going to talk about how we may have an early peak due to this warmer weather. But before we get into that segment, just kind of want to break down the stats that we're seeing out there right now, the interest rates that we're seeing. As always, make sure you follow us on TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, give it a like, share it out as well. On there, you'll also find links to our free publications. The Smart Home Buyer Guide, got a copy over here of that, free, right? Smart Seller Guide, free, and our brand new BRIX report with lots of great data. If you want to know what's happening in the market and our area, all sorts of good data points, projections, all of that, again, free, doesn't cost anything. We're not asking even people to register. You can just download your copy and keep up with what's happening in our marketplace.
I like that, though. That's really cool. The colors and the
It's
photography,
beautiful.
the
Yeah.
art, whoever you have doing that is it's really unique. I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. This is our, I think, 6th volume that we've put out of that.
It's a lot of good information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I got mine in the mail yesterday, by the way. Yep. Thank you.
It'll be some good reading material.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll come over and be like, where is it?
Yeah.
I'm looking for it.
It'll be on your table.
Yeah, it will be.
I've got it at our house.
Yeah.
First couple copies, they're sitting there. In the marketplace, we've seen a lot of trends that are tracking ahead of last year. Now, this can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on whether you're buying or you're selling.
Right.
Right. So, new listings tracking ahead by, this is a pretty big jump. If we look back last week, up 14.7% on new listings over last year. The 2 weeks prior to that, up over 20%. Think about it, though. What was going on last year at this time? Lots of snow.
Yeah,
Blizzard time. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
we were
winter storms.
just getting hammered.
Yeah.
And so last year we saw kind of a more delayed market. We'll talk about that more in the next segment. But tracking significantly ahead. Pending sales, this is also up, but not up quite as much. Okay. So this is up by 11.2% if we look back last week. 3-month total rolling is just about 6% on pending sales. Where the new listings is up 15%.
Okay.
So do a little math, right? Well, that probably means inventory is going to be up, and that's exactly the case, right? We have inventory up just about 5% over last year at the same time.
Okay.
So slowing things down, kind of.
Right.
Right. Well, again, we'll get into this more in the next segment, but because there's more supply, the buyers are just being spread out through more homes.
Right.
Yeah, days on market we're seeing consistently going down.
Okay.
Some interesting things, though, as we've seen, like pay for people go up. They've been changing the affordability index a bit. They made some big changes to that week over week. So affordability index is like the median income can buy the median home, right?
Right.
And have it work out with the debt to income ratio, where that was at like a 1.17. Now it's at or 117. Now it's at a 127. So
Wow.
adjusting as pay has gone up a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, days on market, we're seeing that dropping back down. I think it's sitting at 38.5, which may seem like a lot, but it's almost 30% down over that 2 months ago again.
Okay.
So that is a big change.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
huge, and it's pretty close to normal, right?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about our market. There's a lot of dynamics out there that people will look at, especially if they've only been in the industry for a couple of years and be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It's so much slower.
Panic, right?
Actually, we are still doing a little bit better than we were in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
And keep in mind, rates were actually a little bit lower in 2019 at the same time. So, it's all perspective and making sure that you're keeping up to date with what's actually going on and not listening to certain media hype about it, because could I make these numbers sound bad? Oh yeah, pending sales down 30% over 2 years ago. Well, yeah, but they were up
Right.
40, 50%
Right.
over
Right.
what they were a year before that, right?
Yeah, it can't compare apple to apple to 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That
not,
was by far not a normal market.
Right.
right.
Overall, I mean, I think when you look at our real estate market, there's a lot of really positive news out there. And yeah, do I tend to try to look for the positives? Absolutely, because too many people try to look for the negatives
Yeah,
in
I
our
like
marketplace, right? So one great positive trend out there is that on the 12-month rolling average, the pendings or the sale prices are now up. On average, 1.9%, medians like 1.1%,
Okay.
for now like 3 months running. So that's some good news, because
Yeah.
we're kind of out of this little lull that we've seen. Now, for sellers, I should say, good news. But it's also good news for buyers. And what do I mean by that? Home prices going up is that it's good to know you have a market that's stably growing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's one of the things we talk about is, you're making a decision for the future. You don't want a stagnant market or a market that's going to fall out beneath you.
No.
You want a market that is stable, or if nothing else, at least it's growing.
Right.
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 Before we take our break, wanted to hit a couple other notes here. Showings per listing per week jumped back up after Super Bowl week. We also had a rate hike that week, as well as that was our first kind of actual snow event this year. So we were at a 4.85. We're up now at a 5.1 on the average showings per week per listing. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And market meter, like I said, pretty decent sellers range, which is at a 6.94, which is kind of smack dab in the middle of what we call a normal seller's market.
Okay.
And then we can talk a little bit more about this in the next segment. Interest rates sitting right about 7 1/8. Make sure, again, you check us out online at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. You can submit any of your questions or show ideas there. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, talk about where our market is headed. Kirk Duckwall here again with the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, and James Tufson with the Preserve Group. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Again, got Danielle and Chad joining me today. Going to deep dive here into this warm weather a little bit and how it might be affecting our market. And I think it is.
Yeah.
But there's also some other dynamics that could have been in play before that kind of came to be.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a bit about that and the impact that we may see for sellers and buyers out there.
I like it.
So let's just kind of step back and look at that November, December timeline. We actually saw things picking up in our marketplace
We did.
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of, I think, the second time owners looking at finally maybe, hey, let's get some more elbow room, because we saw interest rates go all the way from, about 8 down into the mid 6s in
Right.
a very short period of time, and created this opportunity. And I think a lot of people jumped in while inventory was still at a decent spot. A lot of sellers were feeling deflated because when rates got up to 8 in October, the market was pretty darn slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of sellers then go, okay, I'm going to buy now, and then I'll move in, get my house ready, and then we'll sell that house. I mean, a lot of the homes that I'm looking at that are out on the market right now, people aren't living in them.
No.
Yeah, right.
They've bought something and they're staging it and
Yep.
getting it ready for sale.
So wait, you're saying they had a plan in place?
Yeah.
So they were
Yeah.
talking to a realtor that had a plan for them in place, because that would make you more money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right. Because now you're going to leverage the
Absolutely.
market.
You're
Yeah.
leveraging the market. That's genius.
Yep. So, like, if you do this correctly and time things out, and you can do it in multiple ways. I mean, you can time where you're selling now and buying a little later, depending on the closing timeline that you're putting, or vice versa. Right? You're buying earlier and then selling at peak times. It's just
Right.
again having that conversation, having that plan in place. But what this did is it created a whole bunch of people now sitting on 2 houses, and of course they want to get their house on the market as soon as it makes sense.
Right.
Well, this is where I think the warm weather comes into play.
Right.
Right now, hey, we can get this ready. We're not struggling, fighting, getting easy to move stuff out. Roads are easier to navigate.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything,
Right.
like, oh, I'm going to work on this for a couple hours and then go get warm, right?
Right.
That creates this opportunity. And we started to see that listings pick up. Just like
Yep.
I mentioned in the last segment, I mean, listings up 15% over the same time last year. And
It's a big
last
deal.
year just get pummeled.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And so you have these sellers that are ready to go. So what this does is when we look at the showings per listing, though, average, we're actually down over last year. And the reason is, well, more homes.
Yeah.
Right.
More, right? And so it's diluting that.
Mm-hmm.
It's down, but showing activity is actually up. So the total number of showings that are happening. And if we look at that late December timeline, remember I kept saying like we had 4 weeks running of mortgage applications
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
Yep.
That's our buyers now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
The buyers that bought in December were probably approved back in October or November.
Most
They started
likely.
their search, right?
Yep.
So we have this flood of buyers out there that are now into the marketplace while these listings are there. But here's where it gets more interesting. Well, now we've seen rates move back up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now application rates are going back down. A couple of weeks running, 10% down, 8% down,
Yep.
4% down. Well, where does that put us then in 30 to 60 days? Those are going to be the buyers that are out there.
Right.
Well, lower amount of buyers,
Yeah.
right? So our peak could actually pop early. Last year it popped late.
Right.
Right? We ended up where we normally peak market in like mid-March.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That now, like last year, we peaked early to mid-April because of all the snow.
Right.
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 Yeah.
And then this year, we're sitting here going, oh, wow, our showings are up and maybe showings slowing down because of the applications dropping. That we may set ourselves up for, I would think, that peak in that mid-ish, late March timeline or earlier.
Yeah.
Right. We're definitely, there's no,
could.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're talking almost 70 Sunday.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
so-
Saturday. Yeah. Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday
I mean,
this weekend.
that's great.
I mean, I'm not going to complain.
No.
Oh, I love it.
no.
I know you guys are talking about getting out boating
Oh,
here.
yeah.
A little premature. I was thinking about the big picture here, guys. Is like, obviously we want lower interest rates.
Right.
What I kind of like what's happening right now is interest rates haven't just fallen out, right? Because that's going to create another inventory crisis more than what we've seen before, I think. That's supply and demand issue. So although interest rates are higher now, I mean, they will slowly start dropping, but that's allowing buyers that maybe didn't have the opportunity over the last 3 years to actually get in, look at the property, maybe sleep on it for a day or two, think about it, and then be able to make a good, honest decision, right?
Right.
Where before, as we all know, it was like a firestorm. You went
Yeah.
and looked at a house. If you didn't make a decision before you walked out the front door, it was sold.
Correct.
So I know interest rates right now are painful for most, but with the big picture, I think it's okay because it's allowing opportunity out there.
It is. Yeah.
I think obviously interest rates equate into affordability. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
And you should be making a decision on what you can afford. But 0.25%, 0.5%, that shouldn't be swinging your decision, even 1%,
Right. Yeah.
on whether you're out there. You should be taking in so many more things into consideration into your home buying. Because if your focus is on interest rates, driving that, your focus is in the wrong place.
Yeah,
Yes, it's important to get a good interest rate.
100%. Yeah.
That's important. But if you're letting that interest rate pick your house, pick your timing, all of that, that can be dangerous.
Very dangerous. I've been talking to a lot of clients lately about if you can afford the payment today at the higher interest rate, imagine in 12 to 24 months or whenever it is when we refinance you, imagine being able to take that 28 years left on that loan and refinance it into a 20-year term and keep the payment the same or not lower.
Well, I
Right.
mean, even if
That's
it's
smart.
even if it's 5 years, I
Very
mean, I'm
smart,
not thinking it's going to be, but if you truly look at it and go, okay, you can afford it today. Again, we're seeing that equity growth happening
Yes.
in our marketplace.
Pretty
key.
quick.
That's key right there.
Yeah.
So,
Still growing.
And it will continue.
Yeah.
it goes back to that. Well, rent is 100% interest, right? And I know certain people don't like that conversation about that. Like, well, you should buy when, pushing the fact that it shouldn't be just the buy versus rent, right? That it should be the putting the time and thought into what's driving that decision, right?
Yeah. What are your end goals?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So as buyers look out there into the future, I think we have 30, 60 days before things actually start to move back into their favor more.
Right.
But sellers need to consider this too,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
That your window, it's open right now,
Yeah.
and it got opened a little early.
Right.
Don't wait too long. Don't wait.
No.
Because if you wait until it's green, you're gonna miss out on some green.
It's all about the timing. It
Yep.
really, truly is.
Timing the market.
Yep.
So important, right?
Oh.
And you don't know that unless you're getting good advice.
Right.
And one thing I was thinking, as we're talking today about this and this nice weather, end of March, a blizzard could come in because we are in the good old Minnesota, right? That could skew the numbers a little bit. So I think as we move forward through today's market, we keep these things in mind, right? There's
Right.
opportunity today where if we're forward looking too far, we might miss the bus, right?
Right.
So for sellers, you're hearing this. Okay, well, your window may be now, right?
Right.
Well, if you haven't been planning for it and you're like, you know what, I do want to capitalize, you do have time, right?
Yeah.
And especially, keep in mind, peak market means you hold the leverage as a seller, which means you could ask for a longer closing and probably get it. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I want that 60-day or 90-day closing, thus giving you opportunity to find something else.
Yes.
Right. And especially, again, you go 60 days from now, things are swinging back in a buyer's favor, and then you find something that works for you while inventory is also even higher.
Yeah.
Right.
You
There
could
you
even
go.
do a 4-month rent back on that.
Yeah. Something. Figure out what works.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of tools out there to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Living with your parents. Yeah, absolutely.
As Lauren, our operator, says. Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of people that have done just temporary things, right? Nobody likes a double move, but if you're talking a 10% differential on how
It's worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is so worth it.
and especially with like pods or something these days.
Yeah.
Like load up almost everything.
Yep.
And
Right.
Lauren's nodding pods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Load them up, and you can then go stay at that temporary place, and then find when things are in your advantage. So what are the things that you want to do as a seller to get ready fast? If you're like, you know what, I want to maybe jump on this opportunity. Declutter, start packing immediately. Remember, if your agent does their job, which they should do their job, your house is sold, right?
Right.
Yep.
And you're moving anyway. So start packing.
Yep.
You can store things in your garage. You can store things in your attic. You can store things in your closet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just get it decluttered.
Yeah, less is better.
Yep. Then condition of flooring and paint, right? If you have rub marks or chip marks on your trim or overshoot on bad painting jobs, clean it up.
Yeah.
Make
Clean
it
it
look
up.
nice, right? Not expensive.
No.
Maybe take a little time, but clean it up. Then the flooring, right? If you have stains, whatnot. If you look down and you think a buyer will do you think a buyer will notice this? The answer is yes.
Yes.
They will.
Immediately.
Yes, they will.
If you have pets, get carpets cleaned professionally.
Yep.
Even if your pets can control themselves, there's just the general pet smell you want to work on. And then just general cleanliness, right?
Right.
Just a good counters, sinks, refrigerator, stove tops, just making it look crisp, right?
Crisp.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do that, and with just probably a little staging advice from a good agent, they should be able to get you going in the right direction, right? And so it shouldn't take you long. You
Right.
should be able to get a house ready to go if you want to capitalize. The problem is if somebody's like, well, what about this project? What about this project? What about this project? What about this project? Get your agent's advice. See how critical those are, where they would rank them. Like when I go through and do a market analysis, I put together what I call a recommended preparation list. Start here, then go to here, then go to here, then go to here, then go to here. Whatever you do not go to here. Oh, this is easy. I'm doing this one. Or, oh, I'm going to just do this one. Because if you don't do this one, those other things that you just did were a waste of time.
Okay.
Right? You work your way up. So take your, have somebody come out, give you that advice. Most of the time, though, what somebody thinks they need to do to get ready isn't what they need
Right.
to get ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think a buyer coming into your home, they have an idea of what they want to do.
Right.
Right. So I know paint and stuff, touch it up, make it look good. But if you go and paint the whole house or redo everything, that buyer may come in and be like, oh,
Right.
I can't picture it this color,
Right.
or whatever. It's those little things that can turn someone off or turn them on.
Right.
That's why you say take
Yeah,
advice from
you
your
want
realtor.
to stage to try to appeal to the most buyers, and sometimes even you can stage to deal with maybe more aggressive paint colors that you see out there, right?
Yeah.
To make
Yeah.
it look more neutral.
Sure.
And I just don't go dropping a lot of money. One, because it's probably not worth it, and two,
Right.
you don't have the time.
Right.
If you really want to maximize, and if you watched this show a few weeks ago, this is the time of year where we see home prices move up by 6, 8, 10%, right? So if you miss this window, you may have given up on that while also spending all this money on these projects
Right.
that don't
Yeah.
actually net you more.
Yeah,
That is
paying
so
another
true.
10 to 30 grand for the property
Yeah.
Right.
that you want to buy.
And time is money.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So, I know you have some listings coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
I'm meeting with a client actually after the show.
So am I.
And we're going through the list of what's left.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And it's so important.
With the one I'm going to, we had done some pre-photography, exteriors, getting ready, thinking there'd be all the snow on the ground,
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Might have to reshoot. But yeah, I'm happy. I think I have like 6 or 7 that are going to come on this next month, and that's the time.
Yes.
So
Right.
It's the times now.
if you ever have any questions, please feel free. Reach out. You can hit us up, TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. Always happy to help in any way we can. Thank you again for coming in.
Yeah, thanks. Guys.
Thank you.
Good seeing
care.
you.
Kirk Duckwall here again with the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, and James Tufson with the Preserve Group. Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications, to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.